Recently, President Obama was in Pittsburgh to address the VFW up there, and had made some statements on a promise that we had made as America, and how he was hopeful that we could address that promise and make sure that promise was kept. That promise being to active duty service members and veterans of the United States. Supposedly he feels that his administration has been doing their best to take care of us all. I have a differing opinion, but that's me, I guess. So I don't know how many others feel the same way, but I don't feel that the administration or the president has shown very much, if any, interest in what's going on. What he's basically doing is he's calling for a larger government. He's calling for more funding for the VA under an administration who doesn't seem to know what a budget would be. He's in a sense blaming others for his inability to put a budget together, get a budget passed through Congress, and to stick to a budget. Doesn't seem to know how to evidently balance a checkbook. Just spend, 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 and that's what he wants. Seems to want to always push off on somebody else the inadequacies of his office, of what he does or does not do. And he's now stating that our job in Afghanistan is over, just like our job in Iraq got ended. It's over. And that we have more individuals coming back from active duty into civilian life as veterans who are injured in one way or another. And he's basically saying that under his watch, he has made sure, after the VA scandal had come out, that the things that were going on, he had put people in place to end those scandals. And evidently he, under the new administration for the VA, they have cut down the backlogs by 80%. They have gotten rid of those bad apples that were within the VA administration, causing the backlogs, cooking the books, and basically just the corrupt people within that administration. And when you actually look at the facts, they're completely different. I actually watch and listen to and read the CVA, the Concerned Veterans for America. Those are all veterans that are in that administration, that are in that group. And they said that actually there are statistics out there and that basically say that our wait times for veterans at the VA are up by 50% since last year, or since the beginning of the scandal had happened, and that veterans being turned away from the VA hasn't stopped. And the president says that our services within the VA hospitals are at their best that they've been in years, and that's just not true either. There are service members being turned away still. There's not been hardly anybody held accountable for the issues that have happened within the VA. There have been some that have been supposedly fired, or that have been forced to retire through all this, but they really haven't gotten that far down into it, and they haven't fixed the issues within the VA. I'm not quite sure where the president gets his information from, or why this administration seems bent on thinking that the American public is so stupid that they'll believe every little thing that's said just because it's said over and over again. The president wants to push off on others and put blame on others for sequestration, for saying that the Republicans put sequestration in place, and he doesn't want sequestration, but he surely doesn't want to put a budget together. He surely doesn't want to put cuts in place. He says that he's cut, under his administration, we've cut our deficit in half. I'm not sure where that comes from, because I mean, if we're heading up towards 20 trillion in debt, and the president can't seem to put a budget together and pass it through Congress, how are we cutting our deficit? How are we actually getting back to where we need to be? How is our unemployment rate being cut when it's really not being cut? There's just that many people dropping out of the employment race. I'm not quite sure what to think about all this yet. I want to believe that our government's going to have a change of the guard, I guess you could say, when election time comes around, and we'll actually have in place people that can hopefully turn the direction of the country around. But I'm not quite sure if that's going to happen or not. I don't know if the American people, the voting public, is going to do what they need to do and do their due diligence and get someone in power that actually cares more for America than they do for lining their pockets or their political affiliations. For me, it's I can sit and wonder and guess what our founding fathers would think if they were in the public today, and what they would say and how they would react, to see what they built, what they began, what they put their lives on the line for, what they put their financial status on the line for, has come to. I'd like to know what you guys think. I'd like to get some input on that. If you agree with me, if you don't agree with me. If you don't agree with me, why don't you agree with me? What is it that you see differently than I do, and where are you getting that from? And if you do agree with me, it's great. What parts do you really agree with? What do you think I've got right? What do you think I've got wrong? For me, it's we're letting our veterans down. We're letting those who secure our safety and our freedom, we're letting them down when they come home. We're not doing our due diligence. We're not doing our job. We're failing our service members. We're failing our communities in a whole. We're just failing everybody because we're not taking care of our own. Again, God bless. Please subscribe, share, and comment. Let me know what you think. Thank you.